Welcome to Reading Sensation. Today we talk about Rich Dad Poor Dad, the famous book written by Robert Kiyosaki. Let's start. Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki is a personal finance book that contrasts two different approaches to money management and financial success. The book encourages readers to think differently about money, emphasizing the importance of financial literacy, assets over liabilities, and developing a mindset geared toward financial independence. Chapter 1: Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Kiyosaki begins the book by introducing the two influential father figures in his life and their contrasting philosophies. His biological father, Poor Dad, despite being highly educated with a PhD and holding a stable job in the government, struggled financially throughout his life. Poor Dad believed in working hard, saving money, and relying on the security of a job. He advocated getting a good education and climbing the corporate ladder. In contrast, his best friend Mike's father, Rich Dad, dropped out of school at 8th grade but became a successful businessman and millionaire. Rich Dad focused on financial education, making investments, and building businesses. He taught Kiyosaki that wealth comes from understanding how to have money work for you rather than just working for a paycheck. The main takeaway from this chapter is that different attitudes and approaches to money create different life outcomes. Poor Dad represented the traditional approach: get a good education, secure a high-paying job, and save for retirement. Rich Dad took a more entrepreneurial route, focus on learning how money works and using it to create wealth. Kiyosaki makes a clear distinction between working for money, Poor Dad, and having money work for you, Rich Dad. Thus, the key lessons from this chapter are: the rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. Your mindset and financial education are more important than formal education. Chapter 2: The rich don't work for money. In this chapter, Kiyosaki reflects on a pivotal lesson Rich Dad taught him as a child. Rich people don't work for money, they make money work for them. To teach this, Rich Dad had young Kiyosaki and his friend Mike work for him for very low wages. After a few weeks, Kiyosaki became frustrated and wanted to quit. Instead of giving him a raise, Rich Dad used the situation to explain that most people, driven by fear of poverty and the desire for comfort, spend their lives working for money. Kiyosaki learned that chasing after pay raises, job security, and promotions is a trap, a cycle that keeps people working harder for little return, a cycle Rich Dad referred to as the rat race. Rich Dad believed that financial freedom comes from creating sources of passive income through smart investments and business ownership, which allow people to escape the rat race and achieve true independence. Key lessons from this chapter are: 1. Don't let fear or greed control your decisions about money. 2. Focus on building passive income sources that will eventually give you financial freedom. Chapter 3: Why teach financial literacy? This chapter dives deeper into the concept of financial education and introduces Kiyosaki's most fundamental lesson, the difference between assets and liabilities. Kiyosaki argues that the lack of financial education is what keeps most people poor or middle class. Schools don't teach people how to manage their finances, so they graduate with little understanding of how to handle money. Kiyosaki emphasizes that many people confuse liabilities with assets. For instance, many people consider their homes assets because they appreciate over time. However, if your home doesn't generate income, it's actually a liability because it requires expenses for maintenance, mortgage payments, taxes, and more. The rich focuses on acquiring true assets, things that put money in their pockets, such as rental properties, stocks, bonds, and businesses. The poor and middle class, on the other hand, acquire liabilities thinking they are assets and end up working hard just to keep up with the expenses. Key lessons from these chapters: 1. The rich acquire assets while the poor and middle class acquire liabilities that they think are assets. 2. Financial literacy involves understanding the difference between assets and liabilities and focusing on building assets. Chapter 4. Mind your own business. In this chapter, Kiyosaki explains the importance of taking control of your financial future by focusing on building your own wealth. Instead of just working for someone else, even if you have a job, you should always be building your own business or acquiring assets on the side. Kiyosaki points out that too many people spend their lives working for someone else's company, helping them build wealth while neglecting their own financial future. He encourages people to start small by building a portfolio of assets like stocks, bonds, real estate, or intellectual property. Over time, this portfolio will grow and eventually it will provide enough passive income to replace the need for a job. This chapter emphasizes the idea that your job is not your business. Your business is what you do with your income to create wealth. Kiyosaki himself worked in sales and took jobs not for the paycheck, but for the experience and skills they provided, which he could use to build his own investments later. Key lessons from this chapter are: 1. Focus on growing assets like businesses, real estate, and investments rather than relying solely on a paycheck. 2. Use your salary to invest in assets that will generate income and eventually free you from needing to work for money. Chapter 5. The History of Taxes and the Power of Corporations. This chapter explains how the wealthy use the legal system, particularly tax laws, to their advantage. Kiyosaki explores the history of taxes, noting that they were initially introduced to tax the rich, but over time, the burden shifted primarily to the poor and middle class. The wealthy use corporations as legal entities to protect their assets and minimize taxes. A corporation allows them to spend money before paying taxes, while individuals have to pay taxes before they can spend their earnings. Corporations provide legal benefits like tax deductions for business expenses, which individuals cannot access as easily. Kiyosaki encourages readers to learn how to use corporate structures and tax laws to their benefit. This does not necessarily mean starting a large company. Even a small side business can offer tax advantages and opportunities to protect wealth. Key lessons from this chapter are: 1. The rich use corporations and legal entities to minimize taxes and protect their wealth. 2. Understanding the text code and using it to your advantage is a crucial part of building wealth. Chapter 6. The Rich Invent Money. In this chapter, Kiyosaki highlights the importance of creativity and taking calculated risks in financial success. He argues that the wealthy create their own opportunities by being innovative and thinking outside the box. The poor and middle class often shy away from risk, focusing instead on job security and safety. However, the rich see opportunities where others see risk and use their financial knowledge to capitalize on those opportunities. Kiyosaki shares examples of how he and others have made money through smart investments, business ventures, and seeing potential where others saw problems. He emphasizes the importance of education and preparation so that when an opportunity presents itself, you are ready to act. Key lessons from this chapter are: 1. Opportunities are everywhere. The rich see them while the poor and middle class often don't. 2. It's essential to cultivate an entrepreneurial mindset, seeing problems as opportunities to make money. Chapter 7. Work to learn. Don't work for money. Kiyosaki stresses the importance of focusing on learning valuable skills over simply earning a paycheck. He argues that people should choose jobs that teach them something useful for their financial goals. For example, working in sales or marketing teaches skills that are essential for businesses and investing, even if the salary is not high at first. The chapter highlights that many people focus solely on immediate income, but the rich focus on building skills and knowledge that will help them in the long run. Kiyosaki himself worked in various jobs throughout his life to learn skills that would help him build his wealth later. Key lessons from this chapter are: 1. Don't work just for money. Work to learn new skills, especially in areas like sales, marketing, and accounting. 2. The skills you gain will help you become financially independent by enabling you to create wealth through businesses or investments. Chapter 8. Overcoming Obstacles. Kiyosaki identifies 5 main obstacles people face when trying to become wealthy: fear, cynicism, laziness, bad habits, and arrogance. He explains that fear, especially the fear of losing money, prevents many people from investing and taking risks. The wealthy learn to manage and mitigate fear, understanding that losses and mistakes are part of the learning process. Cynicism or negative thinking can also hold people back. Kiyosaki explains that people often talk themselves out of opportunities by doubting their abilities or assuming the worst. He emphasizes the importance of surrounding yourself with positive influences and seeking solutions rather than focusing on problems. Key lessons from this chapter are: 1. Fear, cynicism, and bad habits often prevent people from becoming rich. 2. The rich learn from failure and are not afraid of taking risks. Chapter 9. Getting Started. In this chapter, Kiyosaki provides practical steps for those ready to start their journey toward financial independence. He encourages readers to set clear financial goals, start learning about money, and take small steps to build wealth. He advises investing in financial education by reading books, attending seminars, and finding mentors who can guide you. Kiyosaki also stresses the importance of action. Many people understand what they need to do to become wealthy but never actually take the steps to get there. He encourages readers to start small but take consistent action, building momentum over time. Key lessons from this chapter are: 1. Start small but start now. Begin building your financial knowledge and assets. 2. Surround yourself with people who are financially successful and share your goals. Chapter 10. Still want more? Here are some to-dos. In the final chapter, Kiyosaki outlines additional practical actions for those serious about changing their financial lives. He suggests setting specific financial goals and breaking them into achievable steps. Attending investment seminars for finding other resources to build financial knowledge. Surrounding yourself with financially successful people who can mentor and support you. Continuously learning and staying up to date with financial trends and opportunities. He encourages readers to stay persistent, avoid becoming discouraged by setbacks, and maintain a long-term vision for financial independence. Key lessons from this chapter are: 1. Set clear financial goals and pursue them with persistence. 2. Keep learning and take advantage of opportunities to grow your financial education. Final thoughts. Rich Dad Poor Dad is more than a book about money. It's a guide to changing your mindset about wealth, work, and financial freedom. By comparing the lessons from his Rich Dad and Poor Dad, Kiyosaki offers readers a new perspective on personal finance, encouraging them to challenge traditional views about money and focus on acquiring financial education, assets, and an entrepreneurial mindset.